Hello, this is Bill Clodsey. Welcome to a vintage cube draft online. This is a single elimination one, so just like at your tabletop, any card we pass we could play against, but any card we take is guaranteed to be off that table. And we're digging for power here. No power in pack 1. We're looking for Moxes and Black Lotuses, Time Walks. But we do find Sneak Attack, and any card like this that's part of a combo that can sort of kill your opponent or cripple them fatally in in one turn is pretty strong. So Sneak Attack, not much else to look for here. The lands are always good. Badlands is a dual land that works well. Umezawa is Jitte. Any kind of creature-based deck is going to love this thing. And you get your new additions to the cube. We have Liliana Death's Majesty. But we're going to take a Sneak Attack here. Tried and true. Try to pick up some Blightsteel Colossi or Emrakul's. Do we get anything good? Not just yet. Not yet. Now there's Stoneforge Mystic, which is generally pretty good. And let's see, Mystical Tutor doesn't really do what we want it to do. Moat, a good sideboard option against a lot of decks. Copter, Venser, Fire Blast, and Figure of Destiny. So I kind of like Fire Blast here. It's one of the best cards you can get in the mono-red aggro deck. And even though Sneak Attack is not great in that deck, it's sometimes playable. And the rest of the cards there just weren't that exciting. If mono red is open, you can definitely make a good version of it. Let's see what we have here. Zealous Conscript is a fine little option in that deck. Daretti can go into a lot of cool decks, especially combo wins like with Sneak Attack. And here we have Monastery Swiftspear, which is never terrible. And in the mono-red aggressive deck, it's just pretty sweet. So I'm actually going to go with that here. Alright, what next? Smash to Smithereens. I like that quite a bit. Abbot is interesting. I'm not sure it's going to be for us here. But yeah, Smash to Smithereens is great. With all this prowess kind of stuff and killing any kind of artifact and doing damage to your opponent, it's hard to argue with Smash. So it looks like we're shaping up to be just a classic mono-red burn deck. There's different kinds of mono-red decks. You can get token decks, just other creature-based decks, or burn decks like this, which take advantage of things like Young Pyromancer and Monastery Swiftspear. And that said, you don't have to not take good cards like Hellrider. It is possible to go 2 colors and pick these cards like Boros Charm, but it makes the mana a little bit more difficult, and you don't always get there. Hellrider's great though. It definitely fits better into the token style deck or any creature deck, but even on its own, it's a lot of damage out of nowhere. So yeah, kind of on the right path here. Fire Blast and Hellrider being sort of the really big pulls into this color combination. And then we have Fire Bolt. And that's kind of the mark you're looking for in the burn deck. Does the card do 4 damage on its own? Because if it does, you don't need too many of those to win the game. You need 5 of those. So Fire Blast does 4 damage, Fire Bolt deals 4 damage over a game, and it gives you that reach you need to just finish it out. Not to mention it's 2 prowess activations for the Swiftspear, and it's pretty cheap on one side. Sometimes you'll have to point it at a creature to get by, but it's always, what's going to do the most damage. over the game. Alright, so now each vampire has madness. I guess that's okay. Searing Spear, these effects are kind of a dime a dozen. It doesn't hit that mark of does it do 4 damage. And Falkenrath Gorger could do 4 damage over a game. And I guess sometimes we could discard a card. Just get a 1-drop down, Savannah Lion style thing. Ooh, Chain Lightning. This doesn't do 4 damage, but it also costs 1 mana. So that's the other mark you're looking for, like the cost to damage ratio. You can't do much better than 2 for 1 at if it costs 2 or more mana, but this is 3 for 1. And definitely going to be our pick. Chain Lightning, not as good as just plain old Lightning Bolt, but just about as good. And Manic Vandal, yep. Pretty easy to pick up here. Badlands might also do well, especially with some random vampire stuff we could get going. But the Manic Vandal is good enough, like, most of the time. Like, a 3-mana 2/2 is actually terrible, but if this takes down a blocker or a piece of ramp at the same time, then you're just way ahead. Figure of Destiny wheels, that's a great sign. It's better than Jackal Pup 99.5% of the time, so all you have to do is invest 1 mana into it at any time you want, and it's just already way better, and it becomes even bigger than that. Just look at all the forms it goes through right on the art here. Bazaar of Baghdad, kind of hard to build with this card in cube. Mostly it's good for a Reanimator deck, but no cards in this pack are any good at all. I guess we take Duretti. Why not? Abbott's back. And these are all good signs for us that the deck we're drafting is open. So no one's really going to be interested in switching over to mono red in pack 2, we hope. One can hope. So we're looking for Sulfuric Vortex, Lightning Bolt, Mox Ruby, any Mox would do it. Maybe some white fixing. That is the secondary color we could be interested in, but really we don't want to play any planes. And we open a Goblin Guide. Yeah, it's usually good for 2 damage, sometimes 4, 6, or even 8 damage. Pretty good guy. And there's a Shrine of Burning Rage. Cards like this have the chance of wheeling. I guess Goblin Guide also has a chance of wheeling. But that's tough, isn't it? I think the Goblin Guide wins out over the Shrine here. That's very close, though. Yeah, usually the Goblin Guide will be better. Maybe the Shrine Wheels, would be happy if it does. Bonfire, I hate cards like this. I hate cards like this in Cube. There's so few ways for us to set up the draw, and I usually end up on the wrong side of variance. But we can take Emrakul. Inferno Titan is a little expensive. I guess it's less expensive than Emrakul, but we can sneak attack that into play. Maybe we get through the breach, and we have 2 ways of doing it. So we're a burn deck that also has a sneak attack combo. And that should be okay, right? Alright, very slow, but here's a Kargan Dragonlord. 2 mana, 2/2. If you just flood out or run out of stuff to do, it can win you the game. And Searing Blaze, landfall 3 and 3. Yeah, let's take Searing Blaze. It kind of hits that mark of more than 4 damage for 2 mana or more. Even if only 3 of it is to your opponent. Like the 3 that goes to the creature could let your guy attack through it. Oh, here we go. Through the breach. So we've got sneak attack and through the breach. All we need is some way to find Emrakul, and then we're all set. Sneak and breach, as it's called. Now that might look like a very large commitment to this poor little Emrakul. We might even never draw. I think it's worth it. And then we have Goblin Dark Dwellers to recur Searing Blaze, Smash, Firebolt, Chain Lightning, any of these things. So that's pretty good too. Shackles and Gitaxian Probe. We're not too worried about our own life total, so we can just bring in Gitaxian Probe, make our deck a bit smaller effectively. Lightning Bolt, we did it. One of the best burn cards you can ask for. And you can only get one, but we do have it. And we have the only one at the table. So now we have Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning. Is this the same artist? Yeah, it is. Christopher Muller. Barely read that name there, but... And there is a point where we cut this nonsense combo up here, Sneak Attack Emrakul, because we just don't have another thing to put in. Like, if we get Inferno Titan back, it makes it a little more appealing. But Sneak Attack to put in, you know, Goblin Dark Dwellers is not the most exciting thing. The haste is nice. It does give haste. I guess Manic Vandal works well enough. So the worst cards we have are like Falconwrath Gorger, with no other vampires. And that's about it. The rest of our cards are pretty good. Kiki Jiki, huh? Does that do anything here? Copying Hellrider is fun, and it's a 5-mana 2/2 haste at the very least. Copy Manic Vandal. Yeah, I'll take it, but only because I'm not so interested in a Magus of the Moon. And Shrine of Burning Rage is back. That's great for us. It's so powerful in this mono red deck where you keep powering it up with all these little spells you're playing. Easily hits the mark of doing 4 damage to an opponent. Oh no. Bonfire. I guess we'll take it. It is a very powerful magic card. I always end up with it in my opening hand and feels like a mulligan. Dragonlord's back. I'm happy to put that in my deck though. You don't want all of your cards to be 2-mana 2/2s. But if one of them has a good mana sink, then I guess you're all set. We need something like Koth. We're looking for Koth, Sulfuric Vortex, and maybe some more cards that convince us to take out these expensive and high variance cards. Classic Sneak Attack Emrakul. Part of the reason this combo isn't so good in this deck is we don't have a way to search through our deck at all. And we could easily play Abbott and like miss on Emrakul, and then Sneak and Breach and Sneak Attack just do nothing for the whole game. We're trying to end the game too quickly for them to be at their best. Grim Lavamancer. That's perfect. Sweltering Sun's good against us, but the Lavamancer... Cool art for it. Torment art. Yeah, the Lavamancer is just ridiculous. Crater's Claws, sure. That might even be better than Bonfire in our deck, half the time. Raging Ravine. Actually, Rishadan Port has some upside in this deck. get an early advantage and then keep it. So many 1-drops. Yep, still looking for Koth, still looking for premium 1-drops and 2-drops. We missed out on the combo with Kiki-Jiki. Mostly it combos with white and blue cards, but it does combo with the thing that steals a permanent and gives it haste. Let's see, Gutter Snipe. No power in this pack, but Gutter Snipe can do a lot of damage. Here's Pestermite, but I don't want to splash. And Siege Gang Commander is fine. It even works pretty well with Kiki-Jiki because it brings in a bunch of goblins each time. But in a deck so set up around instants and sorceries, Gutter Snipe is going to do a lot of damage. Or it could do. Let's see what we actually have here. We've got some good stuff going on. Yeah, here's Restoration Angel, another combo with our Kiki-Jiki, but not one we're too interested in playing. Fire Drinker Satyr. Yeah, it's like another version of our... Geez, where is it? Where'd it go? Falconwrath Gorger. Sometimes worse, sometimes better. And probably worth picking up here. Even though it could wheel, there's nothing else we really want there. Abbot. Alright, here's a playable magic card. We've got Chandra, Torch of Defiance. This is like the red version of Jace the Mind Sculptor. 4 abilities, they're all great. Yeah, easy pick here. Easy pick. Leovold is a ridiculous card to play against, but it wouldn't... This effect isn't so good against our deck. We're not trying to draw extra cards, we're just trying to attack and kill you. But even a 3/3 body for this mana is pretty good. And then some other good cards, but yeah, Chandra, good enough that we're happy to take it here. Rift Bolt is a good one too. We don't want to play against Leyline of Sanctity because we have so many burn cards, but Rift Bolt is powerful enough that we can take it here. The thing is about Leyline of Sanctity, very few decks are going to main deck it. So, you know, the stars have to align for it to beat us in this tournament. We have to play against the person, they have to side it in, they have to have it in their opening hand, and they have to do that twice, you know, they have to beat us twice. So it's so unlikely to make the difference. Now what's happening? Well, actually I really like Porcelain Legionnaire. It didn't look like we had a red card, but this is a... You just pay some life and get this in for 2 mana. 2 mana, 3/1. Solid aggressive card in any aggressive deck. That's why Gitaxian Probe's another just auto-include in a deck like this. So what can we take out here? I think we give up on the Sneak and Breach combo with Emrakul. It's just not so likely to happen, and if we get one of these cards in our hand, it just does nothing without Emrakul. Just try to kill them much more quickly than that. Abbot, Smash. Trying to figure out what cards we're going to cast on time. Rift Bolt, usually consider this a 1 mana play. Yeah, so far so good. We want to add at least 1 more card into this deck. Maybe 2. Right, 23, play play 15 lands? 15 lands could work. Got Burning, which doesn't work in a deck like this, and Burst Lightning, which probably does. 4 damage. Oh, there it is. Sulfuric Vortex. That's what we need. That's the hero we need. So maybe Manic Vandal comes out for Burst Lightning and we can side it in. Or we could just play this many cards. Like, if we look at our actual curve, and we put Rift Bolt here, and we put Porcelain Legionnaire here, and Fire Blast here, then that's starting to look about right. Ooh, Zergo. That's an upgrade to, like, Gorger. Just 15 lands, go nuts here. We could even cut Goblin Dark Dweller. But maybe we'd rather have that. Like, the choice there would be Gorger versus Dark Dwellers. Don't need anything here, but maybe Massacre Worm could kill us too easily. Dual Caster Mage. Fire and Ice is kind of annoying to play against. If ever it kills 2 creatures or something, that's gonna hurt. Yeah, I can see actually taking out the Dweller for the Gorger. Just having a more consistent opening. And even having like 3 of these in your opening hand is not terrible. It's not the best to draw in the late game, but we're not going to win generally with the cards we draw. We're going to win with the cards we start with. And then some of the time we'll draw a game-winning finisher. Ooh, Lightning Helix. Ooh, Timely Reinforcements. No, no, no. Don't want to play against that. Yeah, this is just an all-in aggressive deck. We've got enough expensive stuff here. 3 mana to activate Shrine of Burning Rage. Can't afford to play this 5 mana stuff. Even Chandra's a little expensive for what she does, but it is some more reach. And it can punch through a creature that tries to block. Good old, this is called the Fun Police. If anyone's trying to have fun, you know, have some combos, play out some Planeswalkers, no, none of that. Just kill him. We're just gonna kill him. Winter Orb. We don't even have to time for that. Like, the way we just prevent our opponent from having an untap step just by killing them. So we don't have to worry about Winter Orb. Brain Freeze, yeah, have all the fun you want, guys, with Brain Freeze and commit. Take Kytheon, though. Just as a nod to the aggressiveness of our deck. Take another aggressive card. So the good news is deck building is going to be very quick. We're going to add as many mountains as it lets us without going over 40 cards. And that'll be that. Wait, where's Rishadan Port? We can leave that in. It makes Dragonlord a little worse, but it's probably worth it. And there it is. How's everyone finishing up here? We've got a few people, a few stragglers right after us. Hip Hop Head. Going there once again. Look at this beautiful curve. Kind of a 14 land deck, considering Rishadan Port's like a spell land. Gitaxian Probe also kind of helps you play less lands because it's like a cycler. It just cantrips and makes your deck effectively 39 cards. And here we go. Add basic lands. It suggests 1 white because it's a Civ, and it also doesn't suggest enough lands. So there we go. There you have it. Mono red Fun Police in the Vintage Cube. Let's try it out.